I want to make sure that I acknowledge the sponsor of the show, Tiege Hanley, because Tiege Hanley sent me this new pack. They sent me the new Tiege pack, so I just literally pulled the paper out, got it out of the mail, and I started going through it, and I got a little bit more excited than I should. You know what I'm saying? So they did send me the Tiege pack, and I don't even know what this is yet. So I'm assuming this is what you get when you first order your Tiege, and I don't know what this is. Oh, this is dope. This is absolutely dope. Is this a nail kit? Ladies, get this for the fellas. Fellas, don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. This is free. This just comes with it. 30% off your first order, plus 20% off for life. Literally. Oh, snaps. I didn't know that they were sending it like this. Real talk. So this is the nail kit that they sending you. All right. So now you ain't looking like a dusty. This is a free gift straight from Tiege for the people that ordered the Tiege. They got the small one for the little hands like mine's. They got the big joints for your toenails. And then they got the joints at the bottom too. You know what I'm saying? For y'all that's a little bit more crustier than usual. All right. So that's one of the free gifts that Tiege got inside of the pack. And then what is this? Says squeeze a quarter size amount of Tiege Hanley body wash on the center of the wet bristles. Lather, scrub, rinse, and repeat for the perfectly satisfying wash every time. So that's inside of there also, right? Ooh, I can get my rubber ducky on right here. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Tiege for sending me that uncomplicated skincare for men. And then what we got in here? We got the actual Tiege pack, right? So this is the normal Tiege pack. But then they gave me the supersized joint for the people. They wanted me to show the people exactly what they got when they ordered that first Tiege pack, when you're getting your 30% off your first order, and then you get your free gifts. You get 2 free gifts, and then the 20% off for life. So the 20% off for life is a new thing. And, man, I ain't even got my keys on me to open this up. Maybe I can use the little nail clipper thing. I ain't got to buy no nail clipper for my new joint downtown. And then you get all of the washes, all of the scrubs, all of the AM, the PMs, and all of that stuff. So you got the whole thing inside of there for you to make sure you take care of yourself. But you got to make sure you take care of it every day, right? We don't want to miss days. We don't want to be looking like dusties. It does not absolve you from being able to make sure that you brush your teeth. Brush your teeth. It don't fix the teeth problem. Don't fix you ironing your clothes. Don't fix you being able to take care of your business. But it absolutely makes sure that your skin is phenomenal, even when you go in between shaves. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Tiege Hanley. We absolutely appreciate you. Thank you for continuing to hold us down. I might do an official Tiege commercial, but I like just talking authentically to the people. I like giving the people the authentic look of what it is that you're dealing with, and I want you to hear from me personally. Because anybody can do that little pitch and they can make some little videos, but very few of us can actually speak to the products of exactly what it is that you're supposed to use. So yeah, Tiege Hanley, 30% off your first order and then 20% off for life. That's the Anton Daniels pack, 20% off for life. Using any other Tiege pack, make sure that you go ahead and let that go. And make sure you tap into the link that's in the description and take care of it, all right? What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate y'all for continuing to rock with me. I'm back in my studio. You know what I'm saying? Back in the studio, kicking it with the people. Happy to be here. What up? I don't think I'm going to mute myself today. No more mistakes, right? No more mistakes. What up, friends and family? Megan Curley, where you been at? See, clearly some people haven't been on the live stream in at least a week. Megan said, why so early? Because we are now officially the Millionaire Morning Show. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to all of my people. Early rising. I don't want to hear no excuses from nobody. I don't want to hear no excuses from nobody. You know why, Megan? Because if I can late night live stream, run corporate America, do closings on properties, take care of business, run a web development company, Live stream, taking care of business on Monday night. Q was struggle streaming a little bit last night, but we good. We had a great time. And then we back at it early in the morning, and I'm rejuvenated, reinvigorated. No drugs, no none of that. No uppers, no coffee. Just feeling good, kicking it. I don't want to hear anything from anybody that is sitting here telling me Anton is too much. Oh my God, I worked 8 hours. I worked 10 hours. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear no excuses. Listen, at the end of the day, the world does not owe you sympathy. And more importantly, nobody cares. Nobody cares about your excuses. You got to get it in. You got to take care of business. We got to get to it. And so hopefully I can be a force in your life to motivate you, give you information, entertain you, and at the same time, be able to add value into your life. With that being said, let me go ahead and get a little bit of housekeeping out of the way. This morning, shout out to you, DC205. I like the new time too. This morning, shortly after the end of the Millionaire Morning Social, we should be ending somewhere around 9:15, 9:20 Eastern a.m. At 10 o'clock. We are going to be live streaming on the Patreon at 10 a.m. Eastern today, shortly after the live stream ends on the Bag Chasers. Now, listen, you got to be on a tier. You got to be on a tier. If you're not on a tier, you're not going to be able to get the link. The link is already posted on Patreon, okay? So the link is pinned to the top of the chat for y'all to be able to jump on a tier. If you're not on a tier, you're not going to be able to join the live stream. We are talking Apple. Yesterday, they had their developers conference, all right? They released all of the information with regards to artificial intelligence. NVIDIA is absolutely exploded. We've made a ton of money. We've made so much money, and I've been pushing y'all to jump into this and be a part of it. We've made so much money with the explosion of artificial intelligence and the chips that's associated with it that's going to allow for them to be able to do all of the development that they're doing, that we have to start taking it into consideration, grabbing out some profits, taking out profits. We need to evaluate whether or not we're in an AI bubble similar to the .com bubble and all of that stuff. So we're going to go over it. We're going to talk about Apple stock. We're going to talk about NVIDIA. We're going to talk about a bubble. We're going to talk about artificial intelligence. And we're doing all of that, and we're breaking it down from a C student's perspective at 10 a.m. Eastern on the Bag Chasers today. All right, so the link is already posted. I'm back in the studio. Now I can come in and I can kick it with y'all. Let me go ahead and close my computer because I don't want y'all all in my business just in case somebody ping me from corporate America. You know what I'm saying? And we back in this mug, all right? So what up to all of my friends and family? I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Also, Tiege Hanley, 30%, 40% off your first order, plus 20% off for life. 40% off your first order, plus 20% off for life. If you are not a Tiege family member, make sure you get that. That link is in the description. Also, tonight we got after hours, and we going to get that too, all right? So I got my friends, Quentin, probably Slimmy. We kind of unofficially coined ourselves the Three Stooges, but we're going to be streaming on after hours tonight, and we're going to get it in. What up, friends and family? What up, Chris Watson, K. Cooper? You said you can't wait for Stock Club? Me either. Me either. Messi, I see you. Azriel, what up, though? Jay Peasy, too cool. And shout out to everybody, Keisha, Kojak, Sister, all of y'all. My dog, what up, Jamal Williams? Everybody, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. I want to give a special shout out to my dog, Mike That Dude. Shout out to Mike That Dude for holding me down. I appreciate you. And everybody that tuned into the live stream last night, it was absolutely awesome. How about we go ahead and get started with the show? We got a lot to cover. We got to cover Young Thug's judge. We got to go back to Chicago and cover Brandon Johnson. They say that it's another mayor in suburban Chicago that's worse than Tiffany Henyard. All right, we got to go over that. It's a man we got to react to talking about going homeless. Apple, it's so much to cover on the Millionaire Morning Show. So shout out to Brittany B. Shout out to Purple Haze. Shout out to Tia Marie. Shout out to everybody that's in the building. Rich Reloaded, CJ. CJ, listen, you're going to have to stop doing that every single day. All right, big dog? I already got a bunch of stuff that we working on. We're upping the production of what it is that we're dropping in the chasers, okay? So you're going to have to be able to chill. I see you. I see you every single day. I see you, CJ. All right? I heard you, big dog. Feedback taken, but we've already been working on all of that, okay? So anyways, make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's get into it, y'all. Quick hits. Hold on. Let me make sure that I got this right. All right, yeah. Quick hits. Let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen. Quick hits is a say Max says worse than Tiff. Buckle up. Quick hits is a segment of the show that we like to dedicate to making sure that we add value into your life by bringing y'all the quick news. But we don't want to dedicate an entire segment to each individual thing. Definitely want to keep y'all in the loop on what's going on out in these streets. All right, let's get to it. So first things first, New York is adding hundreds of red light cameras, basically to catch all speed and to be able to get y'all tickets in the mail. Hundreds of cameras in order to make sure that they add value into their coffers. Take a look.
Well, if you have a lead foot when it comes to trying to beat a red light, here's more of an incentive to tap the brakes instead of the gas. Hundreds more red light cameras are coming to an intersection near you. Fox 5's Arthur Chen live in the East Village, a hot spot for red light runners. Arthur.
Steve, this is East House, and that's Allen Street over there. This is an intersection the city cannot be proud of. Since 2020, there have been at least 30 crashes here, close to 40 people seriously hurt, one person killed, and it's one of the reasons why the city has said to Albany it needs an extra tool to get drivers to try to run fewer red lights, and after a long fight, they've gotten their wish.
The examples are stunning. While some drivers may think running a red light is harmless, surveillance videos show otherwise, with people getting seriously hurt or killed in New York. Now lawmakers in Albany have given the green light to quadrupling the number of red light cameras at New York City intersections, which means from only 1% of intersections being covered, soon 5% of the city's intersections will have them.
Since the introduction of the program 30 years ago, running through red lights has decreased by more than 70%. And so we know that it is a proven way to stop people from breaking the traffic law and running red lights.
We use crashmapper.org, which uses the city's data to track crashes. Since 2020, the yellow dots are the crashes where people are injured. Red dots are where people have been killed. At least 1,183 people have been killed in that time, nearly 216,000 hurt. Still, critics are opposed to it, saying the city first has to address illegal plate covers and ghost cars that have proliferated.
Anything that's just a camera-based program is just a money grab. Because at the end of the day, these camera violations don't lead to points on licenses. And points on licenses is what really leads to changes in behavior.
But the DOT and safety advocates both tell Fox 5 that the data clearly shows red light cameras are working, even pointing out drivers running red lights often injure or kill people in other cars.
We know that intersections where we've put in red light cameras, there have been fewer crashes for other people in cars. It's safer for you if you drive in a car every single day to have red light cameras on your street than for there to not be red light cameras.
As for the money grab accusation, the law's main sponsor says there's an easy way for drivers not to pay anything at all.
It's really simple. Just don't run a red light and you won't have to pay for a ticket.
So New York is doing a cash grab. I think that all of this is basically the ability to be able to tax you. However, two things can be true at the same time. I don't think that that's the reason why they're installing these red light cameras in order to prevent more crashes. Absolutely not. I think that the main reason why they're installing red light cameras is in order to make more money. However, like I said, two things can be true. They could be making more money and making things safer. The one thing that they did say, in addition to that, that actually speaks to a bigger problem is that they also need to solve for the ghost plates and the ghost cars and all of that, because even if you got a red light camera, people won't necessarily get ticketed because they don't even have a proper plate on their car, and so you can't really identify the person that you're sending the ticket to. You see what I'm saying? So it can be a issue or a problem because the perpetrators or the people that's out here doing the worst crimes and the behaviors may not necessarily be the ones that's running the red lights. You see what I'm saying? So it may just be a ticket or a flag on a play for people that's actually law-abiding citizens, may have been going a little bit over. But again, safety and a cash grab at the same time, I don't know. Anyways, let's continue over. So in addition to that, Obama showed back up. He's starting to show his face a lot more. We starting to get a lot of Obama sightings. You don't really get a whole lot of Obama sightings, right? But Obama showed back up in Chicago, and he went to visit the construction site of his future presidential library. Take a look.
Well, it was kept under wraps until just about an hour ago. Former President Barack Obama visited the Jackson Park site of his future presidential center today as builders marked a new milestone.
CBS 2 political reporter Chris Tiege joins us with what Mr. Obama told those making the new museum a reality. Chris.
Joe and Erica, he spoke to the small group of Chicagoans helping build out the structure that will tell the story of his life and help shape his legacy. But in a year charged up over questions of who are you going to vote for, the former president in hard hat and vest steered totally clear of anything resembling politics. They've marked a milestone here, 60 blocks south of the Loop. At 225 feet high, they call it the Museum Building, the centerpiece of this 19-acre campus. And the man it's named after,
okay, let's do this,
arrived to sign his name alongside the workers who are bringing it to life.
Well, first and foremost, I just want to say thank you so much, everybody.
The Obama Presidential Center, just blocks from Lake Michigan at 62nd Street, had made news as some criticized it taking over green space and potentially pricing some residents from the neighborhood.
I absolutely love that it's coming.
But for evangelist Latisse Porter, who lives just across the street, that noise, she says, came from people not living here.
A lot of us are saying we want it. We glad they coming, but a lot of them are saying they don't. But I live over here. These people that's saying it, they don't even live over here. And I can't wait till it's finished.
Slated to be finished 2 years from now, the project that began years ago as an idea wasn't always a sure thing, a point the former president joked about.
You know, when we started this thing, I wasn't sure it was ever going to get done.
A low-key visit, void of any political posturing, by the pride of the South Side, signing his name.
There you go.
As the project reaches its peak height, a snapshot in time for the men and women making the new Chicago landmark a reality. Earlier in the day, Obama met with young people to talk about what they'd like to see at the center. Some neighbors we spoke with in the neighborhood say traffic has certainly gotten trickier, and a rodent problem began just around the time construction of the center began. They say that is very frustrating, but overall a win for the neighborhood once the dust settled.
Connie, why you say his entire life is a lie? Why did you say, Connie, I'm trying to figure out. Connie says that library will be full of lies because Obama's entire life is a lie. I wonder why you think that, Connie. What part of his life do you think that is a lie? I don't know. Anyways, him having a presidential library in Chicago, I'm not even sure if he still lives in Chicago. I don't know if he's required to live in Chicago or if people are expecting more from him. I know he got rich after he became president, sold a lot of books, made a lot of money from Netflix. I don't know where this rodent problem came from, but it is what it is. And then last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, Apple had its developer conference yesterday. Everybody was hitting me up and saying if I was checking for it. Some of the people that even work for me, some of the developers that work for me, even my editors was asking, did I check for it? Of course I checked for it afterwards because I wanted to see what was going on. Apple Intelligence, new AI upgrades to Siri. AI is the new thing, and so as soon as you throw AI into anything that you're doing, even though Apple was trying to be a lot more low-key about it, your stock price goes up significantly because it's an AI boom right now. Check it out. Shout out to Ash. I'm going to read that shortly.
Siri helps you get everyday tasks done quickly and easily. In fact, Siri users make 1.5 billion voice requests every single day. 13 years ago, we introduced Siri, the original intelligent assistant, and we had an ambitious vision for it. We've been steadily building towards that vision. And now, thanks to the incredible power of Apple Intelligence, we have the foundational capabilities to take a major step forward. So we can make Siri more natural, more contextually relevant, and of course, more personal to you. Right off the bat, you'll see Siri's got a new look. Let me show you. When you talk to Siri, you'll notice it's more deeply integrated into the system experience with this elegant glowing light that wraps around the edge of your screen. And you can speak to Siri more naturally, thanks to richer language understanding capabilities. Even if I stumble over my words, Siri understands what I'm getting at. What does the weather look like for tomorrow at Muir Beach? Oh wait, I meant Muir Woods.
The forecast is calling for clear skies in the morning near Muir Woods National Monument.
Sometimes it takes me a beat to figure out what I actually want to ask Siri, and now it follows right along. Siri also maintains conversational context, so I can follow up and say, create an event for a hike there tomorrow at 9 a.m.
Hike is scheduled for 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. on June 11th.
I didn't have to mention Muir Woods again. Siri understood what I meant when I said there. There are also certain times when you might not want to speak to Siri out loud. What's great is that now, at any time, you have the option to...
Yo, the level of technology and the amount of money and all of the billions and the trillions of dollars that's being poured into technology on a regular basis, it's just scary. It really is. And I know you can't ever put the genie back in the bottle. I know a lot of people always be saying, oh my God, make sure you do this so you can save jobs. It's never gonna happen, man. You either gotta evolve with the times or you're gonna fall behind. And I use it every day, literally every day in corporate America, and you know what it is that I do. I was talking to somebody, a good friend of mine that's a project manager, and I forgot what kind of chart that they were asking to develop or something like that. I'm like, oh, let me show you how it is that you can leverage artificial intelligence or ChatGPT or this thing in order to be able to build this out really, really quickly. Whereas it would take you a whole, 2 or 3 days of dedicating yourself to it. I'm like, hey, just type it. So I just went in and, we typed it out or whatever. And it took me maybe, 30 seconds to get the whole thing as far as what it is that we wanted it to develop. And it just spit it out right there. And so it saved you 2-3 days worth of work. And it spit it out immediately. Now, you got to go in and customize it or whatever, but it's just crazy, man. It's just the how fast things are moving is absolutely insane to me.
To type to Siri. With just a double tap at the bottom of the screen,
Somebody said they need to get AI to cure cancer. Why would they do that when they make a lot of money in order to be able to treat you for it? Why would they cure something that they can treat you for and make billions of dollars? And also they get billions and billions of dollars a year in donations for the different cancer walks.
Quickly and quietly ask Siri to set an alarm.
Keisha says, I'm horrible in math, so I'm jealous of these kids. Why? Now you got the assistants that be able to get you to wherever it is that you need to be, and you don't have to compete against them. You can absolutely embrace it.
Between text and voice, communicating in whatever way feels right for the moment. We're also laying the groundwork for some brand new ways that Siri will be able to support you. One of which is its extensive product knowledge. Siri now holds a great deal of information about features and settings and can answer thousands of questions when you want to know how to do something on your iPhone, iPad, or Mac. Even if you don't know exactly what a feature is called, you can just describe it, and Siri will find the info you're looking for. Like this: how can I write a message now and have it be delivered tomorrow? Siri understood what feature I was referring to, and now I have step-by-step guidance on how to use the new Send Later feature in Messages.
Yeah, so everybody was excited about the developer conference yesterday for Apple and everything like that. And we're going to discuss it from an investment lens when we get in the stock club later on this afternoon. That is already posted in the Patreon. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. I love you guys. I appreciate y'all. And ladies and gentlemen, that is your Quick Hits. All right, let me go ahead and read some of these super chats, and then we're going to go ahead and get it popping with the regular show. Dion Sardines is in the building, says, well, the red light is just a suggestion. That's a fact for me. I ain't even going to cap, man. Listen, my budget is insane. I done got so many tickets. I got some tickets this weekend. Real talk. State of Michigan, Anton. I got to cover that part up. But, yeah, man, I'll be getting tickets all day long. But, like I said, the speed limit and red lights are a suggestion. And the type of fines that I'll be getting, the way that my situation is, sometimes it's inconvenient for me to have to do it. So, yeah, got that one. Got a couple more over here that I got to take care of immediately. Shout out to our police officers over here that's forcing Anton to go out here and pay it. But like I said, the stoplights for me and the speed limit is just a suggestion. They never give me any points. They only give me a bunch of tickets, and I go ahead and willingly pour into the coffers. And then get to know our police officers when they stop me and said, Anton, you already know why I pulled you over, don't you? Yeah, I got you, big dog. Just go ahead and hook me up so I can get up out of here. But that's not a conversation that I want to have as often as I have to have it. Shout out to Dion Sardines. I appreciate you. James Watt says, AD, did you hear about USA partnership with Saudi Arabia's deal in 6-9? I didn't hear about it. Send that to me in my email and I can go over it and I can break that down, add it to tomorrow's show. Wealth Building Journey says speed cameras, I can see those as a cash grab, running red lights. I personally would rather such fools get points permanently put on their licenses. Not gonna happen, big dog. We the cash cows. Shout out to my dog. I appreciate you, Ash. Shout out to my dog, Ash in the building. Says, AD, I am here, back on the road. Took a month off to spend with the wifey, uninterrupted. Love you, brother. Listen, that's what happened when you ballin'. You able to just take a month off, chill with your chick, and then hit the road so that they can love you. You know what I'm saying? Thank you. I appreciate you, Ash. You know I appreciate you, big dog. J Hub says, keep this time slot. Okay. All right. You like it? I love it. Donnie in the building says his name is Barry Sortoro. He wasn't born in the U.S. He's married to a man. The kids aren't his. Let's start there. Jesus. Okay. Y'all really don't like Obama. Jay Johnson says Judge Joe Brown exposed him on how his name ain't Obama and how his name used to be Bathhouse Barry and how he was some kind of an oil scammer? All right, come on, man. I think that y'all pushing it a little bit much. So some kind of an oil scammer. I don't deal in rumors. I only deal in proof. A.R. Smitty says, how you avoid the points, TD? Because I can even show you the ticket itself. As long as you got a valid driver's license, especially with everything being online right now. So this one in particular, this particular ticket, let me see if I could cover it up. I don't want all of my personal information out here. This particular ticket is you can see it. So I was doing 21 over. All right. I was doing 21 over. I don't know if y'all can see that. There you go. 21 over in my Mercedes-Benz, white Benz. And I was doing 21 over, 61 in the 40. But he just gave me a warning. So if you look at it right here, this is the warning. All right. This is the warning. So it's a citation, but it's only a warning, and it's 61 in the 40. But then, go a little bit further for you, but then, in order to incentivize me, in order to just pay the ticket, he gave me an impeding traffic. So impeding traffic is the actual civil infraction, right? Impeding traffic is a civil infraction, and the other one was just the warning. Now, what he said to me is, this is usually what they do. This is the finesse. What he says to me is, Anton, I'm going to give you a break. You always going over 20 over, blah, 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 right? And so he said, you always going 20 over, you know, I'm going to give you a break or whatever. And I said, oh, okay, thank you. And he said, but listen, if you challenge it in court, we have the ability to be able to change it from impeding to what we originally warned you from the impeding traffic, which is a no point ticket, up to, you know, the 21 over, the 21 over or whatever, right? And then you'll get points on your license. So they incentivize you to just pay the ticket instead of going to court and having a cop come to court and challenge it and all of the go whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Other way is, let's say here, I'll show you another ticket that I recently got. Other way is, let's say, for example, I was in my Porsche on this one, right? So this is when I was in the Porsche on. Recently got this one. All right, so I just got this one. These is both in the same day. All right. So I got another ticket right here. I don't know if you can see that. There we go. So I got another one ticket right here. It said that I was going, it's 0 points. You see where it says 0 points right there? So I was in the Porsche. I was 0 points. But I was going, what's the note say? There you go. It's at the bottom. So it's right here. I don't want to show my VIN number, so I'll show it right here. Just do it like this. So this is the other one. See that? 98 miles an hour. So he's saying that I was going 98 miles an hour, but what he wound up doing is saying that I only did 1 to 5 over, and he put 0 points on it. So because we cool and they know who I am, they just put 0 points. So what I'm doing is basically paying a fine without any points associated with it. You see what I'm saying? So otherwise, I can just give it to my lawyer. The lawyer will challenge it in court. They'll charge me a fine. I pay the lawyer. And then ultimately, it never ever hits my record. So it never affects my insurance or anything like that. So when I get on certain roads or whatever, I have to make sure that I go a certain speed because I want to make sure ain't nobody else following me and all of that. And I do that on purpose in order to ensure. Because if I see somebody still trying to keep up with me and I take a wild road or I drive about 98 or 100 miles an hour, then, you know what I'm saying? And I see ain't nobody following me for an extended distance, I know that they're not following me home. I know that they're not doing any of that. They're not trying to get at me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm okay with getting pulled over by the police, but I'm not okay with somebody following me to the crib. So I have trauma responses, things that I got to make sure that I ain't getting involved in. I don't care about I don't need no radar detector. I don't care about getting pulled over by the police. Only thing I care about is making sure that ain't nobody following me to the crib. So as long as that's cool, but I never get any points. I never get anything. They usually just give me a break. Hey, you going 98 into 70 miles an hour. You know, let me make sure that we give you a ticket. It's not going to be no points. They know pulling me over. None of that junk is going anywhere anyway. So you might as well just get the money out of it. So yeah, man, that's what I do. That's how I rock out. And I tell y'all, I live my life. I live my life like a rock star. Everything that I do or I talk about online, I actually live in real life. Yannick, that goes without saying. We ain't even going to talk about that, all right? Anyways, let's continue on with the show. First things first, let's talk about the Young Thug trial. So this is something that we haven't necessarily visited. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to continue to read Super Chats about the show. This is something that we haven't visited in a long time. And the reason why I want to talk about this Young Thug trial is, A, it is the longest trial. I'm hearing that it is the longest trial in history. It is the longest trial in history. One of the things that I think is egregious about this trial is that it's basically, in my opinion, it's probably draining Young Thug. Every single dime that he's ever had. Every single dime that he's ever had is probably being used towards this trial, because who can afford to get this level of legal representation in order to defend yourself in a court of law and prevent yourself from going to jail in a RICO trial? You see what I'm saying? Now, I'm a huge advocate for getting the thugs off the street. I'm a huge advocate for getting the thugs off the street. I do not like crime in my neighborhoods. I don't do anything, but I am consistent, objectively consistent. And the reason that I'm going to tell you that I'm consistent is because I believe that everybody is innocent until proven guilty in the court of law. Meaning that no matter what it is that they're accusing you of, it doesn't mean that it's true. And I don't just take anybody's word for it. You got to be able to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt in order to be able to convict somebody. So if they can't prove that he did some of the things that they're accusing him of, and it's a lie, because people lie every day in order to be able to get their credentials, in order to be able to boost their careers, Prosecutors put people in jail every single day that they're not necessarily guilty of. Yes, it is longer than the OJ trial, Brown. I believe objectively what's beautiful about America is that everybody deserves their day in court. But what happens when you got a Fani Willis at the helm that allegedly, actually not even allegedly, went to the White House before filing charges on somebody like a Trump, or when a Fulton County DA or all of these judges and stuff like that are colluding with each other? What happens when you, as a trial attorney for the defendant, then get information that says that they are secretly meeting with each other in order to get you convicted? What do? How do we handle that? How do we, as the American people, even though we don't like crime and some of the things that's happening in our culture and in our neighborhood, we still got to objectively stand on principles and morals, because any form of corruption within a government ultimately is a system that we cannot embrace, because it will never be fair towards whoever it is that is or isn't guilty. If the system itself is corrupt and you got absolute power to be able to determine somebody else's fate, despite the fact that we've put safeguards in place in order to ensure that people are supposedly getting a fair and equal day in trial, how do we trust the system? If you can't trust the system, if you cannot trust the system, if you can't trust justice, that is the thing that we have to protect the most in society. And so Young Thug's lawyer has been jailed, but you cannot even remotely believe why. Check it out.
Tonight with that dramatic new twist in the racketeering trial against Young Thug. The judge holds the rapper's lawyer in contempt. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Russ Spencer.
I'm Courtney Bryant. This after the defense attorney confronted the judge about a private conversation in the judge's chamber. Fox 5's Christopher King joins us to fill us in on what happened here and why. Christopher?
Well, Courtney and Russ, a contentious day in court and a contentious trial that's taken lots of bizarre turns. Young Thug's lawyer told the court he found out about a conversation between the judge, prosecutors, and a star witness for the DA's office. The judge said that defense lawyer was not supposed to be privy to that information.
I asked you how you got it.
A combative exchange between the judge and the defense lawyer for rapper Young Thug. Judge Earl Glanville repeatedly grilled lawyer Brian Steele on how he got private information from the judge's chamber. Steele refused to divulge a source.
I can't do that. Yes, you can, because I have an idea how you got it. Well, your idea I have an idea how you got it, but that's improper, sir. Your idea may be wrong, and you're asking me to... Listen, I told you the first time.
Steele on Monday told the court he learned of a conversation between the judge, prosecutors, and Kenneth Copeland, a witness for the DA's office. Steele argued he should have been in that meeting.
I understand that you spoke with the witness outside our presence. And whenever, yes, I had an ex parte conversation, which is appropriate. And you influenced the witness.
The judge says Steele was not supposed to be part of that conversation.
This is so sacrosanct to have a conversation in my chambers parroted to you and others. It is.
The judge is more concerned with how he got the information about him having a meeting that they were not supposed to be having without the attorney for the defendant present. He's more concerned with abusing power and then also grilling the attorney, the defendant's attorney, about how it is that he got the information instead of addressing the fact that he should not have been doing this in the first place. It's a corrupt system. Absolutely not. No way in the world that they should ever even continue with this trial. 100% objectively should be a mistrial. When you have a corrupt judge or a judge that is more concerned with whether or not the defendant's attorney, because if the defendant's attorney never found out about it in the first place, they would have just continued on with this conversation or this trial as though nothing ever happened. Yo, if I ever get caught up in anything, I need me an attorney like this. I need me a beast.
That serious.
Steele challenged the court, claiming a judge should not have contact with a sworn witness.
You're not supposed to have communication with a witness who's been sworn. Well, I'm going to hold you in contempt.
Young thug, whose real name is Jeffrey Williams, is on trial on racketeering charges. Steele asked for a mistrial, arguing he cannot adequately represent his client if Steele is not in court.
Mr. Williams does not wish to go forward without me being here. You are removing me against his will, my will. You're taking away his right to counsel.
Judge Glanville denied that motion and had Steele removed from court. The judge hit Steele with the maximum sentence, 20 days in jail. Now, Steele can stretch that out over 10 weekends. Court resumes tomorrow morning at 9:30. Russ?
Let me go ahead and show y'all the actual whole exchange between a judge and not chopped up. This was the whole exchange between the judge and Young Thug's lawyer.
I have a... He's right behind you. Sorry. I have a motion that I need to make outside the presence of Mr. Copeland. All right, you can make it right now. Is he out?
Let me know when you get down to the...
Is Mr. Copeland out?
No, he's upstairs.
Okay, good. All right.
Yeah, come on down. Don't come in the court. Come when you get to that.
He took his jacket off later on. He must have got real heated.
Thank you. Go ahead. The way I understand my constitutional obligations, pursuant to the 6th and 14th Amendments of the United States Constitution, the corresponding sections of the Georgia Constitution, I'm required to make a full and complete statement to the court. For the record, and if God forbid this goes up on appeal for the appellate courts or another tribunal, commission, or administrative body, I was told, based upon information and belief, that when we arrived at 8:30, 9 o'clock today, we did not come into your courtroom until almost 11:30. And what I found out just recently, this is not waived, is that supposedly in chambers, this honorable court reporter at times, honorable court at times, district attorney or district attorneys from the DA's office, as well as investigators, sheriff deputies, Mr. Copeland and his counsel met together. None of the defense team, to my knowledge, was aware that this was going on. It was told, based upon information belief, that it was told to the district attorneys that Mr. Copeland intended to plead the Fifth Amendment. Then I was told, based upon information belief, that Adrian Love, the lawyer for Mr. Copeland, and this court were together, and Ms. Love made representations that John Melnick supposedly spoke with some attorneys for the accused and wrote an email to Ms. Love, to Adrian Love, stating that Mr. Melnick does not represent the witness, and that Mr. Melnick wrote an email saying F you, and then somehow that email was CC'd to me. That never... Mr. Steele, can I interrupt you just a second? I'm kind of disturbed because that's ex parte. All that was an ex parte conversation. How did you find out about any of that? Well, I'm disturbed too. And the reason I'm asking you a question.
What kind of response is that? What kind of response is, hold on, stop what you're saying about your concerns as far as how it's going to affect the trial and my client? Listen, my client's life is on the line. His freedom is on the line. You guys are having a conversation that you're not supposed to have in your chambers with a witness, with the prosecution, and we don't even know nothing about it. I had to catch it on a whim, and I had to basically expose you in front of the cameras, which thank God there's cameras here. I got to expose you in order to let you know that y'all are breaking the law and y'all not doing things above board, and this judge is corrupt and this court is corrupt and the prosecution, y'all working in cahoots, and there's no way that my client can have a fair trial because y'all are having secret meetings. And the judge's response to this is, how did you find out about this information? I'm disturbed that you even know about what's going on Not, I didn't do it. Not, no, that's not true. Let me add additional context. You're misunderstanding how we doing this and all of that. None of that. The conversation with the judge is, how do you know about what was going on and what little birdie told you? Who snitched on me? The judge is operating like the thugs. The judge is operating like the thugs. That's crazy. And he's doing this like he Fonnie Willis out in these streets with a bad attitude.
Question. How did you find out about it? I'm going to answer you the question. Okay. Scuttle, if you look at SCUDDER versus state, which is 298 Georgia, 438, it's Division 2, 782 Southeast 2D 638, 2016. Our highest court says when a court meets, because Mr. Copeland comes in, meets with the court supposedly made statements, which I assume is somewhat accurate based upon what you just said. We're entitled, Mr. Williams and every other person wrongly charged here is entitled under the Georgia Constitution to be present. That's a critical stage.
It's just like when you meet with me, and you and Mr. Adams meet with me, and others have met with me. It's those are ex parte for a lot of different other reasons, but I will certainly note that for purposes of the record.
Well, I'm going forward. What I was told was that Mr. Copeland said.
And you haven't answered my question yet.
I'm not going to answer that question.
You're not?
No, I will not answer that question.
Why will you not?
No snitching. Hey, let me give a round of applause for this lawyer. I need lawyers like this. He gonna say, oh yeah, duly noted. In the meantime, let's get back to what it is that I said. No, this ain't your, bro, I'm bringing forth a motion and a concern about you meeting secretly in the chambers with people that you ain't even supposed to meet with, and this is illegal.
Answer that question.
Because I want to make sure that what I say is accurate, and I'm not trying to get anybody else.
I'm asking you, how did you get this information?
I'm not telling the court. What I'm saying is based upon information.
Okay, well, listen, if you don't tell me how you got this information, then you and I are going to have some problems.
We can have I have problems right now.
Okay, I know. Look, I
Hey,
don't.
stand on it, big dog. He said, listen, we can have whatever kind of problem you want to have. We can have whatever kind of problem you want to have. However you want to play it, that's the road that we going to go down. We can have a problem. But you still ain't addressing why you doing stuff dirty, and you the judge that's presiding over this.
You at this point in time is, how did you come upon this information? Look, if the case gets reviewed, the record's going to be available for our appellate court and for whatever reason. But it's disturbing that how somehow you have surreptitiously gotten information in regards to the court's private ex parte conversation with a party. I mean,
a witness who was sworn in Friday, the court's telling, this is what I was told. If this is not true, not true. This court handed Mr. Copeland.
Tell me how you got the information.
Listen, whatever you want to do.
Tell me how you got the information, then we can go ahead and go forward.
I'm not going to say that. What I'm going to say is this. I was told, and I hope this concerns the court.
It concerns me that you have proprietary information.
Why is it proprietary?
Or information that you should not be having that was ex parte.
Why?
With a party.
Why?
State of Georgia.
How about the witness? How about Mr. Copeland, who supposedly announced he's not testifying and he'll sit for 2 years, and then supposedly this honorable court, or excuse me, let me rephrase that. This court supposedly said, I can hold you until the end of this trial. Ms. Hilton supposedly said, actually, all of the defendants and then all 26 people are disposed of. Is that?
I can't even believe that I'm about to say this. I can't believe that I'm about to say this. Never in a million years did I ever think that I'm about to say what I'm about to say right now. Free that man. Free that man. Because listen, look, I know that the court of public opinion is important to people. And I know that we got to say the PC right thing in order to satisfy the people. But listen, if you can't get a fair trial, or if we find out that things is happening under our, because it's too much happening here. It's too much. There's no way, man. Listen, they need to let that go. If it's on the state, the burden is on the state. The burden is on the prosecution. The burden is on the state. The burden is on our legislative branches. The burden is on our judges. The burden is on the people. to actually operate above board and prove without a reasonable doubt, that this man is guilty. And if you cannot get a fair trial, and if they cannot operate above board, is no way that I'm ever going to advocate for somebody that is not. Listen, that is our justice system. This is our, man, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. There's no way in the world that we can justify with all of the nonsense that's going on here. Listen, they gotta let it go. I'm never going to say, and I can't believe I'm saying this because, I don't like this. I don't like this culture. I think that the music is absolutely influencing us to do something wrong, but you can't. There's no way, objectively, whether I like it or I don't like it, rules are rules. And it ain't no way in the world that I'm ever going to advocate for the dude to spend the rest of his life in jail if they have not operated above board and proved without a reasonable doubt that he deserves to be there. No, absolutely not. It sets a bad precedent across the board. No way.
True. What this is coercion, witness intimidation, ex parte communications that we have a constitutional right to be present for. So I understand that you're upset towards me, but I don't know what I did.
Mr. Steele, I still want to know, how did you come upon this information? Who told you?
What I want to know is why wasn't I there?
Sir, I'm going to hold you in contempt if you don't tell me who tell me who this information was coming from.
I don't want to be held in contempt. Well, I'm not answering that question.
Stand on business, dog.
I am not answering
attorney-client privilege. Unless you were in my chambers, that's the only way you can figure out. I tell you what, I'm going to give you 5 minutes. If you don't tell me if you don't tell me who it is, I'm going to put you in, I'm going to put you in contempt because that is not attorney-client privilege.
Attorney work product privilege. I am not.
How did you get that information supposedly from my chambers? Did somebody tell you?
I'm not. You should have told me.
Stand on business. Stand on business. No, don't sit here saying, how did you get the information that somebody told me? That's your responsibility. You, the judge, should have never happened in your chambers. You supposed to be telling me. No, we not going to sit here and pass the buck. We not going to go ahead and move the goalposts. We not going to act like a modern woman. The reality is you should have told me. Man, shout out to him. He acting like that's a real one right there. Shout out to the lawyer. He told him to the face. He said, look, don't be asking me no questions. You should have told me. It should have never happened in the first place. Man, free that man, bro. Free slime.
You got 5 minutes. Well, I don't need it. I want to continue.
I don't need it.
This is what I was told. Mr. Copeland made statements that he
so you gonna run out like a modern woman? Made him submit. I can't believe that he just walked out. He just literally stormed out of the court like a modern woman because he wrong. 10 times out of 10, he is wrong.
To killing Donovan Thomas and don't take my notes. No.
Nah, keep it on him.
I have
he's right behind you.
Sorry. I have a motion that I need to make outside the presence of Mr. Copeland.
All right, you can make it right now. Is he out?
Let me know when you get down to the
Is Mr. Copeland out?
No, he's upstairs.
I can't believe he just stormed off like that. I can't believe it. Yo, this is corrupt. It's nasty. It's dirty. It's not right. And I got to keep it a buck. I got to keep it fair across the board. Objectively, removing how I feel about the culture, removing whether or not I believe, because it doesn't matter what I think. The only thing that matters is what you can prove. And if you cannot prove beyond a reasonable doubt, and if you out here operating like a thug in order to try to get me jammed up, then you got to free that man. This is America. This is not South America. This is not Canada. This is not the UK. This is not Africa. This is not China. This is not South Korea, North Korea, Singapore. None of that. This is rules are rules. And if you can't abide by the rules that you're leveraging in order to get me thrown under the bus, then you got to free that man. No way in the world that this should ever go forward, in my personal, unprofessional opinion. Anyways, let me go ahead and get back to the show. Let me read some of these super chats. I don't agree. 1,000%. Okay, I'm going to see what y'all say. We going to talk about it on After Hours tonight. Donnie says Barry's stepfather's name is, oh, Jesus Christ. Barry grew up in Indonesia. That's why it was a big thing over his birth certificate. It was not a lie, born in the U.S. I don't know that. But thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you. I need it to be proven without a reasonable doubt. Forsaken Archive says Betty won't prosecute Adrian Love in jail. Betty won't put the prosecutor Adrian Love in jail. A.R. Smitty says that job up there like they got me. Think quick. Yeah, he tried to posture, and so he gonna walk out of the chambers. Gotta love Silverado says attorney still stock just went up. He a real one. I like that attorney. Jay Johnson says, so what is going to happen to the judge, the case or the lawyer? Possible mistrial? Will they move to another court? Is Washington, D.C. watching this? I don't know, but I'm advocating for Young Thug to be free right now. Wealth Building Journey says, do not free him. Young Thug's RICO case needs to be a mistrial. They need to retry him with an impartial judge with impartial proceedings. Nope. I think that they need to just throw the whole thing out. The whole thing is botched. And there's no reason why he should have to spend another $10 million trying to protect himself and keep himself out of jail, because then that itself, in my opinion, the fact that you got to keep trying it over and over again with different lawyers, that's going to cost you probably upwards of over $10 million because this is the longest trial in history. You know what I'm saying? Then puts you at a disadvantage. And then that also is a contributing factor to whether or not you are getting a fair or an unfair trial. No, absolutely not. No. They do not need to try him again. You messed it up the first time. You don't get a redo. I'm absolutely against it. No, absolutely not. No way, no how. We disagree on that well-building journey, respectfully. I know y'all love me. I know y'all chasers, but we disagree. Forsaken Archive says his lawyer also said he wants to go to jail with Young Thug so they can work on a case together. Real one. I shout out to him. He marketed himself great. Judge stormed out like he was on Cheaters. Great Way says, is this live? Just kidding. What's good, fam? Shout out to the Great Way. I appreciate you. No. Nah, man, I'm not going. Y'all not going to convince me to throw that man's life under the jail. Regardless, listen, there needs to be, the justice system has to be above board. This is not Gotham City. This is not Batman at all. No way, no how. I do not agree with it. And y'all saying that I'm tripping. No, I'm not tripping. I think that, well, y'all can talk about it. Y'all can talk about it on After Hours tonight, and we can have an uncomfortable conversation. I'm not going to sit here and say, because the burden rests on the prosecution and the judge to be able to do things above board. If you having secret meetings, there's no way that you can say that you're getting a fair trial. You had your opportunity. You lost. You don't get another chance to be able to get another $10 million out of me to contribute to the system. No, absolutely not. Not at all. Anyways, let's continue on with the show. Brandon Johnson. Y'all know Anton usually refers to Brandon Johnson as Mayor Mohawk. Mayor Mohawk is in the building. Shout out to Brandon Johnson. Brandon Johnson. Remember when we was holding Tiffany Henyard accountable for her hair and makeup? Well, they saying that Brandon Johnson was using campaign funds illegally for his Mayor Mohawk hair, makeup, his team, and he was out here like a bad bee. Shout out to the bad bees, Brandon Johnson. All right, let's get to it. So they said Brandon is out here finessing. But meanwhile, before we even get to Brandon Johnson, let me tell you and let me show you what's happening in the city while he was getting his hair and makeup did. Hair done, nails done, everything did.
Topping the 10 tonight, a look at summer gun violence in Chicago.
We have talked a lot about the new plans from the city, police and community leaders working to keep everyone safe, but it was a violent weekend.
At least 44 people were shot across the city, and police say they are investigating 8 murders. But we know gun violence is much more than just a number.
Our Jermont Terry live at CPD headquarters for us tonight, sharing the story of one of those victims. Jermont?
Joe and Erica, this woman recently left Chicago and just moved back. Now her first summer back, she is the face of gun violence.
My back is like a little stiff. It's like my lower back.
At 23, Dominique Tosin Montagano never imagined she would be in such pain.
Listen, I don't care if you look like Trippie Redd. I don't care if you got green hair. I don't care if you got green eyebrows. Nobody should be subjected to getting hit with random bullets while you in Chicago standing around on somebody else's porch just randomly. Nobody, I don't care what you live your life like. I don't care if you sassy, ashy, classy. Nobody should be subjected to the level of gun violence that's happening in Chicago. Whether we agree with her hair color or not.
Not the summer.
It's not the summer I wanted.
2 bandages to her back.
These are both of the wounds.
And leg cover gun wounds. They are injuries from when Dominique stood on the friend's porch over the weekend near 56 and Elizabeth in Inglewood. Police say at least 1 gunman, possibly more, opened fire on a group of about 10. The crime scene shows countless evidence markings on the block.
Then the shots let off and everybody started ducking. Got behind the concrete. And that's when I felt it. I'm like, my back is bleeding.
Her friends let Dominique know she was shot. Another guy was shot in the hand, a third person on the porch hit in the arm by what's believed to be random gunfire.
I thought at first like my back was hurting from the door. My back was hurting because I got bullets in it, or bullets were coming out of it. That's crazy.
Dominique is one of 44 people shot in Chicago over the weekend. 8 people were killed by the ongoing gun violence.
44 people in your city and y'all down over 2,000 police officers. We get there.
That could have been me. And I don't think a lot of people be understanding stuff like y'all have mothers too. What are y'all doing?
She's a part of a troubling statistic she never wanted to join. She tells me those with the guns simply don't care.
We can sit up here, we can protest, we can walk the streets, we can do anything. It's not working. We're trying. I don't think the police can do anything, the mayor can't do anything. It's only getting worse every year. And it's.
Oh, we know what the mayor doing. Here, you want to know what the mayor doing? All right, baby girl, I'll show you what the mayor got going on. While you was over there getting your back blew out, that didn't come out right. But don't worry about it. We're going to get there. While you was over there getting your back blew out, Mayor Mohawk, now listen, I want y'all to look closely. Look at the level of effort and detail. I know that this was an off day. You can see the stubble around his face, meaning that, he didn't get his hair and his makeup did at that particular time. But I want y'all to pay attention to everything that's going on here. Look at the context clues. You got the gray, that's the authentic part of his beard. The black, you get that colored. Cool, ain't nobody tripping about it. I get my beard colored too. I want to get the grays out, got to keep the black popping. Then he gets a fade up on the sides. He get his little Jerry curl, his S curl going up, just for me. And then he get it going back like this. And then he make sure that the mohawk's still going up. So he's largely known as the mayor of Chicago, but we over here at the Millionaire Morning Show refer to him as Mayor Mohawk, okay? And so I thought that he just had a good, his barber, or he just had a good, connection. That's how he been rocking for a long time. But apparently he got a whole makeup artist and they leveraged campaign funds in order to keep him fresh. Take a look.
We start here at 5 o'clock with questions about Mayor Brandon Johnson using campaign funds to pay for hair and makeup expenses for himself and other people tied to his campaign. The Chicago Sun-Times first reported that Johnson has spent more than $30,000 in 15 months. Election lawyers disagree if it's lawful. NBC5 political reporter Marianne Ahern joining us now with reaction. Marianne?
Allison, election law does not mention specifically hair and makeup. So depending on whom you ask, there is disagreement whether it's legal. He's not the first to use campaign funds this way, but in Johnson's case, he's using those dollars not just for himself, but others too. Last August.
Yo, this could possibly be fraud. Honestly, this could be laundering money. Who spends $30,000 on hair and makeup? $30,000 on hair and makeup? I don't know if y'all familiar with the laws and what it is that you can write off as expenses or how you can apply campaign funds or even funds for your business, but this is unreasonable. It doesn't even make sense. Honestly, it does not even make sense.
When we spoke to Mayor Brandon Johnson in a one-on-one interview, his makeup artist prepped him before we asked questions. Johnson is paying his makeup artist through his campaign donors. Likewise, this
now y'all gonna be feeling some type of way. Don't mess up the black woman's money.
hair salon in Austin is also paid with campaign funds. It's just 3 doors from his former county commission office. Johnson has expensed more than $32,000 from January of 2023 through the end of March of this year. Campaign records show the makeup artist was paid $28,000, the hair salon $4,000.
I would be hard-pressed to say grooming.
$4,000 to somebody for a haircut? Yo, our system is so broken. Our public politicians is out here running around like bad bees. They are out here like they rock stars. Politicians have now become rock stars. Hair and makeup for a politician? For a public servant? Think about that for a minute. For a public servant, hair and makeup, and let's keep the energy across the board. The same thing that we talked about Tiffany Henyard for, as far as her having her little wigs done and still looking like Lil Wayne, is the same thing that we need to be holding all of our politicians accountable for. A public servant needs hair and makeup.
Is part of your governmental functions. That's not a function of government to look good.
Bert Olson is an attorney who specializes in election law. So does Michael Dorf.
The key is the law does not prohibit expenditures for grooming expenses, and it is absolutely clear that how you look is at least as important as what you say in any political situation.
The Illinois State Board of Elections says, quote, if you're making an appearance as mayor of Chicago and you hire a makeup and hair artist for the event, that would most likely be a legitimate use. But if you're using them for a strictly social event, there might be a stronger grounds for a complaint. You also can't pay more than fair market value for goods and services. During former Mayor Lightfoot's term, she expensed $8,000 total for hair and makeup.
Oh, you got to pick a struggle, fam. Hey, we're not going to go there. Shout out to Mayor Beetlejuice.
To her campaign funds.
Is Illinois completely corrupt? Is everything in Illinois completely corrupt? We're going to get there. We got a whole nother mayor that's in a whole nother city that's right next to Tiffany Henyard. They corrupt too. They say that she worse than Tiffany. We're going to get there.
If I was to pick a side here, I'd pick a side of being on the conservative side, following the letter of the law and not trying to stretch the law.
The campaign money was used not just for Johnson's makeup. In a statement to the Sun-Times, his campaign spokesman says the expenses were for the mayor and individuals associated with the campaign for public appearances, events, media segments, and other availabilities.
It's a political problem for him. It's a public relations problem. I don't think it's a violation of the Illinois Election Code.
We reached out to the mayor's office, who told us contact his campaign office. That spokesman did not return our call.
So, Mayor Mohawk is out here parading around like a bad bee, getting to the bag and finessing people. I don't know, man. I mean, listen, if they gonna vote you in, and this is what they standing on, who am I to complain and who am I to debate about whether or not you can be out here spending $30,000 in a year on hair and makeup for you and your friends? I guess Chicago, listen, maybe we should complain about the people that donated to your campaign in order to be able to get you to do this. I don't know. I just don't even like the idea that people can donate to people. And this whole system is just messed up. We need a redo. We need a redo. But shout out to Mayor Brandon Johnson for continuing to finesse. Let's move on with the show. So, in the spirit of dirty politics and dirty politicians, I am hearing that there is a mayor. Now, I don't know. I'm going to be reviewing this for the first time just like y'all. I am going to be reviewing this for the first time just like y'all. All right? They are saying that there is a mayor. Now, in the same way that we discovered Tiffany Henyard, we're going to be having a conversation about an entirely different mayor. But before we get into this mayor in particular, this new Illinois mayor that people are now saying that there's more corruption, he's way worse than Tiffany Henyard. That's what the sentiment is. That's what the headline said on the email that y'all sent me to review this. Before we get into that, I want y'all to be able to compare the two. Okay? Remember when we discovered Tiffany? Remember when we discovered Tiffany? We discovered Tiffany on a whim, right? It was just a happenstance. Somebody sent me an email that said, Anton, this lady is crazy. She looked like Lil Wayne. And I said, okay, well, let me look at the video. I looked at the video. I said, this woman is insane. Now look where we are. A year later, they got the FBI investigating her and all of this stuff, right? Okay, cool. No worries. And so I want you to be able to have a comparative analysis and then be able to look at them both and then make an objective decision as to whether or not you think that this new mayor that I'm going to introduce to you, this young man right here, is worse than Tiffany Henyard, like people are saying, or whether or not you actually think that Tiffany is still the worst mayor in America. Okay? What's up, Veronica? What's up, family? So let me remind you of the most recent headlines and what happened over in Dalton and Thornton Township with regard to Tiffany Henyard before we move over into the new mayor.
Andrea. Good morning. Well, before the disorder and chaos, Dalton trustees were able to get enough votes to override Mayor Tiffany Henyard's veto to have former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot investigate.
Lawrence Roberts, we gonna get there too. We covering that next.
Spending of village finances. But things got out of hand after Henyard didn't allow Lightfoot to speak and tried to end the board meeting.
Hey, y'all so bad over there in Illinois and all of these little towns, these little hick towns that y'all got running into the ground, overtaxing y'all and stuff like that. Y'all so bad that y'all will go and get, based off of popularity and identity politics, y'all gonna go and get the old mayor of Chicago that did a horrible job, that only served one term and got kicked out and only got elected based off of her preferences and who it is that she slept with. Y'all went and got her in order to try to make a splash, in order to do an investigation into Tiffany Henyard. So you go and get another trash politician to come and deal with the trash politician that's basically being labeled as the worst mayor in America. And then y'all over here parading it around and it's just becoming more of a circus. That's how bad a lot of these cities are, bro.
What I will say is that it's an honor to be working on behalf of the residents of Dalton. We have not rested while this procedural matter is in limbo, and we're not going to allow anyone to stop us and obstruct our ability to get to the facts.
Yeah, and Lightfoot's microphone was then cut off and she was not able to finish her remarks. This is when tempers flared among residents. Police then stepped in and started to clear the room, even threatening to jail anyone who didn't leave. After the meeting, Lightfoot issued a statement saying, quote, the majority of trustees remain committed to performing their fiduciary responsibilities on fiscal oversight and advocating for the best interests of Dalton residents.
Like paying you $400 an hour when the FBI is already investigated. But we'll get there.
They understand that village residents deserve a transparent and thorough process. Now, many residents who attended stated they are determined to get Henyard out of office.
We've got to take our village and our township back in that order. And we've got to get rid of the administration, the current administration, minus the people's trustees that are fighting for us.
Yeah, you're not going to understand until they put those cuffs on you. You're not going to understand it. You don't care. But baby, they on to you.
So that is what's happening in the clown show that's going on over in Dalton But they telling me that it's a mayor over there in a completely different town, and his name is Christopher J. Clark. And they saying that he's worse than Tiffany Henyard, but this is just the beginning. Let's review it together and figure it out. This is insane.
Tonight, another South suburban town faces controversy.
Just like we've seen in Dalton, it involves the community protesting against their mayor.
Our Nate Rogers picks up the story from here in Harvey.
There are many issues here in Harvey that residents have brought to our attention. Residents marched from a nearby church right here to the municipal center before tonight's meeting. Several police officers were on hand, some residents calling that an intimidation tactic.
We're just seeking the transparency, participatory governance. We have several questions about
She able to use them big words. Hey, get a shout out to all of the people that know how to say participatory correctly the first time. Man, knowing how to use all of them big words. Shout out to Kobe Chapman, Harvey 2nd Ward Alderman. Alderman is a thing over there in Illinois, in all of these low-key Chicago cities. Shout out to her for being able to get that word off without even stuttering. She said participatory. I like that. You know what, C students, we get impressed by big words.
Officers were on hand, some residents calling that an intimidation tactic.
We're just seeking the transparency, participatory governance. We have several questions about the bills list, and if we know what's going on in adjacent communities, we certainly don't.
Look at the participatory government, adjacent communities. She didn't just use other communities. Who is this woman? Harpo. Hey. Get this woman on, get her an invitation so we can get her on the Millionaire Morning Show, and let's have a conversation. Participatory, adjacent communities, not other communities or communities next door, people that are a part of what it is that we got going on. No, this is participatory governance, and we want to know what's going on with adjacent communities. Talk to them. Talk to them, baby.
The bills list, and if we know what's going on in adjacent communities, we certainly don't want to model those types of things.
Tension in suburban Harvey continues to grow. Residents taking their fight to the street in a peaceful protest.
Not the babies out there.
Finally, outside Harvey's municipal center, residents holding signs. One of them saying, quote, Mayor Clark is worse than Tiffany Henyard. Another one, quote, stop harassing vendors. Business owners saying their licenses are being held up. Residents complaining of a 3% water hike. Pastors outraged after Harvey churches are now required to obtain a business license or their doors threaten to be closed. At least 2 city council members and a packed room of concerned residents are calling for transparency on how village dollars are being spent. The mayor's critics are also asking that his administration be investigated along with his business dealings.
It's unacceptable. You have been elected to serve. You should serve with integrity, not pushing the agenda of the mayor, not pushing the agenda of what he has asked you to do in his office, but I'm expecting people to do what they have been elected to do. And when you get aside from that, then you need to be removed.
But why are you intimidating somebody with a business? How can this happen when we got more policemen here than I've ever seen in a year? Who's paying for all of this? Who's paying for all of this stuff we got going?
When it comes to the money, we just ask for transparency. You're an attorney, you know better.
Now, city council members tell us more than 70 businesses and over 100 churches are impacted by Mayor Chris Clark's latest mandates. We asked to speak to Mayor Clark. I even gave my business card to his chief of staff. We were told no, that he is not available.
I don't like that. You can't close all of the churches. Why is there so many churches in these small towns? But more importantly, 70 businesses? Nah, that's not a good look, big dog. We're going to approach this the same way that we approached the Tiffany Henyard situation. What's his name? Christopher Clark? Harvey Mayor. Christopher Clark. Yep, that's him. Same type of website, same thing. All right, well, let's see what we got here.
Thank you for calling the City of Harvey.
Press 1 for senior services. Press 2 for the police department. Press 3 for human resources. Press 4 for the water department. Press 5 for public works. Press 6 for the mayor's office. Press 7 for Lewis Williams. Telephone number 708-893-3019. Can't take your call now. At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, simply hang up or press pound for further options.
Hi, my name is Anton Daniels, and I was looking to reach out to Christopher Clark. I understand he's the mayor of Harvey, and I'd love to get his perspective because it seems as though he's been getting a lot of negative coverage about how he's managing the city. But I'm interested in speaking with him and hopefully painting a better picture or a better light of getting his side of the story, because I think that the media can be absolutely slanderous towards some of our politicians, especially the politicians that we have in a lot of these small towns. And I don't think it's right that he's being compared to Mayor Tiffany Henyard over in Dalton. So again, my name is Anton Daniels. I have a significant following on YouTube. I'd love to be the first person to be able to speak on behalf of Mr. Clark. I actually like that name. I remember listening to Mr. Clark on Lean On Me. Neither here nor there. Anyways, if you guys can give me a call back at 313, that is 313. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. You are absolutely awesome. And I'm available anytime. Have a good one. Anyways, neither here nor there. So we definitely want... We definitely want to make sure that we give our politicians not just one side of the spectrum, but we definitely want to give them the opportunity to speak to whether or not what they're being accused of and the negativity that's associated with it. So hopefully we can get that interview. We're going to reach out to them. We're going to double back. We're going to put a little bit of pressure on them as far as to make sure that they speak to us. And I'm going to see what I can get for you guys over here on the Millionaire Morning Show. All right. Oh man, don't listen. Don't do it. Don't do it. All right. This is how we move in corporate America. It's a little bit different. Michael Mitchell Jr. says, AD, Elon says he's going to ban Apple at his companies. Oh, okay. Well, I'll go and review that. Send that to me in my email. And I'll look into it a little bit. Send me the article. And I'll look into it. All right? Don't listen. Don't do it. I'm looking at y'all in the chat. Shout out to my people in the chat. I am absolutely a C student. I will pull up my transcripts. Maria Lovely. You know what I'm saying? All right, y'all. Let's continue on with the show. And other news. Oh! Another politician. I heard this one is down there in Georgia. Do y'all know who this politician is? Another politician is being sentenced. Now, all right, let me back up for a minute before we start to hold her accountable, because I'm just really now hearing about this lady and starting to do a little bit of research. I told y'all that when Biden extended the PPP loan fraud thing, and they have up to 10 years to come and chase y'all down, they working their way down the totem pole. I warned y'all. It was a lot of people. You remember when all of these people, let me tell you the two biggest scams that was happening during the pandemic. Actually, it was three. It was three massive scams that was happening during the pandemic. The first scam that was really, really killing it was people promoting and getting rich off the idea of selling you that you need to invest in their course in order to learn how to get into trucking. Man, listen, I've seen so many people get finessed thinking that they was going to go out there and be an owner-operator, get into big trucking, and then make a bag as a result of it. I cannot tell you, and I told y'all, I said, listen, it's some money to be made, logistics, but y'all don't really know. You don't really understand what goes along with this game. This is a boom-bust cycle. It's a boom right now, and everybody running out there in order to go and get a truck, and y'all going to get stuff left holding the bag, and it ain't going to go well. Second biggest scam that was happening during the pandemic, unemployment. Unemployment fraud was rampant. Yeah, absolutely. And then the third biggest finesse, I said it's just too easy. It's too easy. You said what was too easy? Getting that PPP loan money. Man, listen, I ain't seen a bigger setup in my lifetime. There was the only thing that I can think of that was a bigger finesse or a bigger setup to have y'all out here crashing out, and I don't even think that was as big, was the housing crisis that happened that ultimately led up to the recession that we had over in 2008. The only thing that I seen that was probably more impactful is people every single day. Every single day. They biting their nails, hoping that they can get past that 10-year mark, praying to God that they just go only after the bigger fish, like this lady that I'm about to talk about right now. Praying to God that they just go after the big fish and that they don't even pay attention to what's going on with you. But I'm going to tell you what, one thing is for sure and two things is for certain. They coming, bad boys. What you gonna do? They coming for you, boy. Yes. All of y'all that was fake balling, that was out here buying all of these cars, everybody ran over into the Lambo dealership. Y'all was out here stuff. Where all of the money go? Where all of the ballers? Where the people that ball after tax season? Because we passed April, we passed May now, we in June. All of them same people that was flashing the money phone back then, they ain't got nothing to say no more. Where they at though? Everybody disappeared. Now they running for their lives. Didn't even do nothing meaningful with the money. They finessed the government out of billions of dollars. And y'all didn't know that was a setup? Anyways, apparently we got a Democrat, a Georgia Democrat over here, and her name is Shalitha Robinson, sentenced to 7 years. 15 million she finessed, that's what they saying. 7 years. Check it out.
Mo money, mo problems. At least for former Atlanta city attorney and Democrat Shalitha Robertson. Now, she was just sentenced to 7 years.
Hey, hold on. Before we get into this, is Atlanta, of all of the cities, I got Houston up there too, but is Atlanta the biggest finesse city, or is it Miami? I really only think that it's only two cities that's in the running. You can throw Houston in there as an honorable mention because a lot of the people over in Atlanta moved over to Houston, so you got the same demographic. Miami, LA, throw LA in there because there's a whole lot of people pretending to do a lot of things and ain't doing nothing. They just faking it to make it, all right? Is Atlanta or Miami in black culture the biggest finesse cities on the face of the earth? Y'all let me know.
Years behind bars after being found guilty for pandemic loan fraud over $15 million worth. Robertson gave out this advice in 2023.
Goes back to what I've always told you. Don't ever chase the money. Mm-hmm. The money will come. Chase it.
I got to review this. What? Wait. What podcast is this? Sheila Robinson did a podcast? Hold on. Hold on, wait. Hey, and then she got the nerve to be on there giving advice. Don't ever let the money make. She giving advice. Listen, she giving the same effing advice that Diamond from the Players Club gave when she was trying to convince her little cousin not to go into the strip club. She giving the same advice that Diamond gave. Don't ever chase the money. Let the money chase you. I'm sorry, ma'am. How did you get a $15 million Rolls Royce? That's why I'm so adamant about showing my receipts. I'm sorry. Let me get there.
Robertson gave out this advice in 2023.
I gotta review this one. Let me take a picture.
Goes back to what I've always told you. Don't ever chase the money. The money will come.
Chase the universe, not the bag.
That's it. Chase your passion, baby. Chase your dream. The money will come.
Yeah.
Receipts is receipting, ain't it?
The money will come courtesy of the American taxpayers. Because safe to say, she didn't practice what she preached. In April and May of 2020, Robertson chose to follow the money and fraudulently applied for millions of dollars in government loans for 4 businesses that she owned. And then she hooked herself up with luxury items that came with a very steep price tag, such as a swanky Rolls Royce, a 10-carat diamond ring. And Georgia filings show that she donated $1,000 to Trump prosecutor Fani Willis's Democratic primary election campaign.
Yo, you cannot make this up. Okay, so here's my question. Because I believe that the only time that you can be out here flossing, is if you got it legally. Let me say that again for the people in the back. The only time that you can be out there flossing is if you got it legally. You know why? Because when you put a target on your back and people start digging and the prosecution start paying attention and the IRS start looking and saying, hey, what is a city attorney doing with a Rolls Royce, a pink one? Why y'all being so loud? Why are the people that are finessing the most the ones that's the loudest? I don't understand. The only time that you can be out here in Monaco, the only time that you should be out here driving in the loudest car is when you got it legally. Why would you finesse? I mean, you shouldn't be finessing at all. But why would you finesse and not be laying low? You got it in your regular bank account. You just out here buying 10-carat rings, driving Rolls Royces in Atlanta of all places. Jesus Christ.
Donation went through around the same time that Robertson received her massive payouts from the Paycheck Protection Program. Paris, you can't make this up.
No, I mean, when you hear about all the candy that she was raking in, she was rolling like J-Lo before Ben Affleck. You know, is there a fiduciary responsibility of Fani Willis as a district attorney to pay attention to, as then a candidate who's donating to her campaign? Like, when you get a certain amount, are you responsible
only $1,000
for looking and seeing where that money came from? And if you are, and something like this hoax, are you also responsible for going after that person? I mean, I have questions for Fani Willis now. Robertson basically answered them all. She chased the money, and she was trying to make sure that the pot was big, so she was trying to tell everybody else don't chase the money.
Right.
So when she got there and found the money, it'd be waiting for her.
Right. And according to 12 New York jurors, then absolutely every dollar needs to be scrutinized when you're coming about election, right, Kaylee?
Yes.
In politics, there is a drumbeat, like with Harvey Weinstein when I was at the RNC. They were demanding the DNC pay back the money that was paid to them by Harvey Weinstein in the form of donation. So that is a fair question.
Maria Lovely says, Anton, you always say, why floss for people who don't care about you? That's correct. You flossing for people. You're not buying stuff that's meaningful to you, that is something that was on your bucket list. You're doing it in order to stunt for people that don't even care nothing about you, and you're going to go to jail and they're not going to check for you. That's 100% right.
For Fani Willis, but the audacity of this woman. The Paycheck Protection Program came into place during COVID when I was in the administration, and it was for the purpose of being given to business owners to keep your employees paid, because employees couldn't work. Businesses, we didn't want them to go under. So this PPP program was for that purpose. This woman wrote on a form that she had 4 companies and 427 employees. I looked everywhere. I want to know how many employees she actually had. She clearly didn't have 427. She wanted to go out and buy diamonds.
Well, you can steal the money with that.
Dog, if you got a business that got 427 employees, if you have a business that what company, dog, you know how hard it is to grow a company to the point to where you can afford to pay 427 employees? Who's trying to come in my space?
Without any employees, which was
part of the fraud, just to be clear. By the way, that program was $1.2 trillion. Just last summer, there was a report that $200 billion possibly was spent in fraudulent claims. PPP, unfortunately.
Yes.
There was the pastor in Minnesota. He said he had 28 employees. He didn't have any. There was a pastor, a man in Florida. He bought himself a $3 million home, didn't even have a business.
Wow.
I mean, the fraud was massive. So it was meant in a good way, obviously. But look, at the end of the day, Sam Bankman-Fried, all that money that crypto stolen money that he gave to all those politicians in D.C., they're not giving that
was
back.
the other slush fund.
But Lawrence, here's the thing. The government only makes money because of our taxpayer dollars or what it seizes from us. So the good idea wasn't actually a good idea. If they would lessen regulations, that's how businesses thrive and are able to actually make an income. So her getting the free money and everything that people used to crow about and sing about, it is our money that not only goes to the government, but then goes to those fraudulent recipients. And it seems that no one in that party ever appreciates or recognizes that.
They don't understand it, and they're so hypocritical. And this happened all over the country. But what's particularly egregious about her case is part of what her claim to fame is justice, especially in the area. And ATL is the modern-day Black Wall Street. She was stealing money from the community that she said that she was advocating for. $15 million that were supposed to go to employment of those Black residents, while still saying under the banner that she's saying no justice, no peace, racial justice. How can you advocate for that and steal from those same people?
I got to get this podcast. Hey, if anybody in the chat that can find this podcast, I don't know who it is. What's her name? Shalita. Hold on. Give me a second. I got to find out what this podcast is. What is this podcast? Anybody know what this podcast is that she's on? I'm going to try to pull it up. Hold on. Shalita Robinson. Robertson. Shalita Robertson. Wait a minute. If anybody can find this podcast, would y'all please send it to me? Email it to me at antondaniels413@gmail.com. antondaniels413@gmail.com. I cannot find this podcast. I don't know where it's at. I don't know if they removed it. But if y'all can find it, is that her pink Rolls Royce? Oh, y'all got to see this. Before we move over to the review video, give me a second. Is this how she was riding around in Atlanta? What is wrong with these people? I got to share this with y'all really quickly. I'm sorry. Give me a second. This is how she was riding around in Atlanta? Oh, my God. What is wrong? What is wrong with these ladies? What is wrong with these people? Why would you be riding? First of all, it's tacky as hell. It looks trash. Jesus Christ. Yeah, man. If anybody can find it, that looks horrible. If anybody can find this podcast, y'all let me know. I want to check it out. And I'm sure that it's not even available anymore. But if y'all can find it and y'all can check it out, send it to me so we can review it on the Anton Daniels channel, and then we can go from there. Anyways, this is shout out to y'all. Shout out to y'all in these streets. Y'all are unreal sometimes. Moving on. Last but not least, before we get y'all up out of there, because we want to keep it G, we want to keep y'all within the 2-hour mark. So we got a meeting to get to. I got a meeting to get to before I do the live stream for y'all. Again, Bag Chasers, Patreon members. Bag Chasers, Patreon members. At 10 a.m. Eastern, we are live streaming on the Patreon Stock Club. And we'll probably live stream I'm going to try to keep it within an hour. We're going to go over investment, stock club, taking profits out, AI, Apple. We're going to talk about all of it. And then I'll also give you guys a little bit of a refresher for those of you that's just there so that you can know where we at. And I can break it down from a C student's perspective. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. All right. So the review video that we have for today is a man explaining. He looks like a reasonable guy, looks like a regular guy, a guy that you would see shopping in a grocery store, older gentleman, probably in his 50s, I'm assuming. And he's explaining how he became homeless. Regular, everyday guy, I'm assuming. I didn't get a chance to really deep dive into it. But a lot of you guys sent it to me in order to review. Thank you. My name, Joe, and Anthony Boom. I'm going to be reading the super chat shortly. Bree Renee on YouTube is a podcast. All right, I'm going to check that out. But this is a man that is explaining how he went broke. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's see what we can mine out of this from a value perspective. First of all, before I even look at it, his name is Trent B. Clever. Trent B. Clever. I like to give credit to the content creators. I want to make sure that I give more visibility to other content creators. And, always give credit where credit is due. So whether I agree with you or not, I always like to recognize the people that created the content because I think that that's the right thing to do. Okay? Trent B. Clever is his name. He got 260 subscribers. If you like this video, make sure you go over there and you let him know that Anton from AntonDaniels.com sent you. All right? Let's get it popping.
What's up, everybody? This is the one and only Trent B. Clever coming to you live out there 405 in Oklahoma City. Now residing in T-Town, which is also known as Tulsa, Oklahoma. Today I'm going to be talking about my situation, becoming homeless.
Hey, y'all, if y'all record outside, sometimes, depending on what the circumstance is, if y'all going to have a long video, make sure that y'all get y'all a windscreen, all right? Or get you the little fluffy thing in order to block out the wind. Let's continue.
And so let's get into it. Well, I was working as a paraprofessional teacher, and I was living paycheck to paycheck. And unfortunately, the school I was working at ended up letting me go due to a lack of funding in that department. So once that occurred, I still had 2 or 3 more checks coming, I think, over the summer. And what happened was, of course, my lease agreement went up, had to be renewed the following summer, so my lease went up. And on top of that, I was due to have surgery because I've been having some health issues involving my hip, which is called necrosis, vascular necrosis, along with other health issues, which is like sickle cell anemia. It's funny I can smile at that, but at the time it really wasn't funny.
Most of the people that I've ever, because, I've talked to you guys and I've said that, I've done a lot of volunteer work in my life. And for a year straight, I had went and did volunteer work with homeless people on Saturdays. Most of the people that I ran into was not a degenerate. It was not a person that was dancing in traffic, asking for money for crack and nothing like that. Most of the people that I've ever worked with, as far as, helping out or doing volunteer work with, if you listen and you talk to them or you meet them long enough, a lot of them are regular, everyday people just like me and you. They had a health issue or they had a health scare. They was living paycheck to paycheck. And then eventually something happened that knocked them off of their square. And then eventually they had to let something go and they wound up living in their car and they never really got back from it. So what I personally experienced, at least here in Detroit, that a lot of the people that wind up going homeless, and this was a while ago, but a lot of the people that wind up going homeless, was just one paycheck away or one financial disaster or one medical bill or one hospitalization away from losing everything. And they got so far behind and they had to let something go and then they wound up living in their car. But let's continue.
Anyway, moving further along. So what ended up happening is I ended up not renewing the lease agreement because I couldn't afford to. I ended up losing my apartment the month before my birthday, my 44th birthday.
That's crazy.
And so I ended up with my last paycheck packing up all my things in the U-Haul truck, moving myself, and moving down to putting those things in storage. So I put those things in storage. My brother was supposed to help me, but we got into this disagreement, and so I didn't, at the time I was already stressed out under pressure, so I didn't feel like really arguing, and it just got, one thing led to another, and things got crazy. So I ended up moving myself, and ended up living out my car, and then I was in the shelter at Salvation Army for 2 months.
It's crazy.
Job searching, got me a caseworker, applied for Section 8, applied for public housing, HUD housing, etc., and was putting on a 2-year waiting list for a housing voucher.
Again, a lot of the love and support usually is highlighted in women. Women are the ones that get a lot, and this is just the truth. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. A lot of women wind up getting a lot of the resources, but you don't really hear about men talking about. First of all, this is not something that men usually talk about. Men usually stay low key. They're not really trying to tell because they be embarrassed. And we know that as men, the only way that society view us or the way that society judges us or evaluates us is not based off of the amount of help that they can give us, but it's based off of how productive we are. And so you are often overlooked. If you are a man, nobody wants to hear your story. Nobody cares. Nobody is trying to check for you. How productive are you and how awesome are you is the way that we are judged as men. And somebody says that's an old 44. Yeah. Life has absolutely aged him. 100%. I'm 42 and he looked like he could be my father. Now, I ain't the spryest in the crayon box, you know what I'm saying? But when you getting your butt kicked, you get your butt kicked.
During that course of time also, like I said, I applied for different temp agencies in Oklahoma City, and I was working off and on assignments, but nothing that was consistent or permanent. So I had a little money here, a little money there, and I would use that to try to get bus passes or to move around the city so I can possibly secure other wings of housing and get on my feet. Anyway, after this 60 days, I only had 2 weeks left for the Salvation Army, so I ended up getting a 2-week extension, which I still wasn't able to afford an apartment. So I ended up, I was working that week.
I'm assuming that this is, I hope that he's telling the story and saying that he's back on his feet and he got himself together. I'm hoping that by the end of this story, he's going to say, yeah, I got myself together. I came up. I'm regular. I'm telling y'all what it is that I went through so that you don't have to go through it. Hopefully that's the end of the story.
Winkos for about a month or so. And then for Winkos, I ended up pretty much losing that job because I couldn't get back and forth to work. I was having really bad car repair issues between the, behind in car payments, car insurance, my tag and title had expired. I had little or no gas at times. And I ended up pretty much losing my car in October 2023. Lost my job at Winkos. I couldn't make it back and forth. It became a house from the struggle.
So wait. Talk about down bad. Not only did you lose your job, which also ultimately caused you to lose your crib because you couldn't renew your lease. Then you start having car problems and you ain't even got a car that's paid for, which means that you had a lifestyle problem. And then on top of that, they come and repossess your crib, which is your car. And you can't get back and forth to work because you're having car troubles. Man, talk about down bad. Jesus Christ.
I'm out the shelter and then transitioning to a whole new shelter. Grace Rescue Mission was crazy because you had to earn 4 credits and then work around those credits just in order to look for a job. And you only get bus passes unless you had a doctor's appointment or something of that magnitude. Well, I had little or no money, so I had to do what I had to do. A lot of times I'll walk across that bridge downtown Oklahoma City or whatever just to get on my feet, or try to go to the nearest library, which was close in proximity, and I apply for jobs off and on, like on Indeed, my resume through Indeed, ZipRecruiter, and other sometimes direct hiring processes. Well, I get a referral letter, and then eventually I end up getting out of there. I was able to get a secure grant in a transitional housing where I was there for 30 days, which is a blessing. But at the same time, it was tough at times to move it back and forth with little or no money. So I ended up getting hired again at another job, which is Walmart seasonal, and I was working as an in-store shopping during the Christmas holiday from December to January of 2024, trying to get back and forth.
But this is recent. Hopefully he got on his feet recently, because he was saying that this was just happening last year.
And unfortunately, that job ended up letting me go. It was far across town from where I was staying at the time. And so if you live in Oklahoma City, understand what I'm talking about, buses don't go everywhere, and buses cut off at a certain time. So at 6:30 p.m., the bus that I needed to take cut off at a certain time, and especially on weekends, because a lot of times Walmart needed me to work on weekends because they were in high demand. And so that was unfortunate, because around 5:30 p.m., guess what? I would get stranded and have to walk with 6-7 miles, and a lot of times with my hip and my body and my health conditions, I couldn't maintain that. So eventually my hours got cut down.
It's a lesson in this. I'm going to give you my thoughts in a second. Light bulb moment.
And eventually I ended up pretty much losing that position. January 2024, weather got crazy, weather got bad, and I was in and out the hospital sick all the time. A lot of issues, sinus allergies. I was having issues with my sickle cell crisis. In between that going on, I was dealing with a vascular necrosis in my hip. Between all that stuff going on, which led to February. I ended up basically in a whole nother shelter, whole nother situation. During this time, got blessed with some new glasses for free, which is truly a blessing. I got new glasses, I had clothes, I was able to get food stamps, so I wasn't starving. My issue was housing, securing permanent housing. Because it seems like being homeless, you're going from one shelter to another, or on and off the street, and oftentimes, a lot of the shelters, you're on a deadline. You won't have so much time to be in or to get on your feet. And a lot of the apartments, even low-income housing or income-based apartments, a lot of those you still make 3 times your rent. I wasn't making 3 times the rent. So once I would get approved, I still needed the money for my security deposit, prorate fee, etc., even if it's a special. And I still approved that I was making 3 times the rent. So March, I ended up staying with another friend of mine, and it was a blessing, but in a sense it wasn't. I was staying there, actually sleeping on his sister's air mattress, back and forth, and then sleeping in different other places, people's couches, etc., just trying to maintain and take my medication, make my doctor's appointments, stay positive, stay uplifted. I always pray. Prayer got me through a lot. My mother encouraging me, telling me to fight and not give up, because a lot of times I feel like giving up. I didn't have a lot of support from...
Where's the mama saying? Go back with mama. Go make up with brother. Jesus. Listen, sometimes pride get the best of you, and I'll be like, hey man, listen. I ain't really trying to be out here in these streets. Let me go ahead and fix the situation.
Close friends or family. Now that I think about it, I don't even consider those people close friends. But as far as like family, I can lean on my mom, for support, and she supported and encouraged me over the phone, and praying for me.
Mama said, I'm gonna tell you what it is that you can do, but you just can't come here. I'm gonna pray for you though.
Because she could barely help herself, and at the time she was in a whole nother area in a living assistance center.
Oh, she in a living assistance
center. Right along,
center.
So I decided, a friend of mine offered me an opportunity to come down to Tulsa, Oklahoma. So I was blessed with some little bit of income. So I bought me a Greyhound bus ticket. Came out here 3 weeks ago to Tulsa, Oklahoma, for a fresh new start, a fresh new location, a fresh new everything, just to get on my face and feel a whole lot better, to get on my feet and feel a whole lot better, and encouragement and inspired. So sometimes you got to get out from your old surroundings, man, because sometimes a lot of things can block your blessings. Sometimes negative energy, depression, stress. I had high blood pressure and having that, and a whole lot of things going on because of my stress level at the time, being homeless and going from one place to another, not really getting a lot of sleep at night, having health problems, job searching, networking, just trying to get on my feet here and there. And it's a struggle when you're trying to do it all by yourself, but I continued to keep smiling and keep my faith in God and kept pushing forward. which led me, of course, down to Tulsa. I've been in 3 weeks now. I've been same search, but it's a little bit more settled now. Thank God I don't look like what I've been through. For real, that is a real thing. Even though it sounds cliche, it's a real thing. So anyway, so now, again, like I said, I'm in Tulsa, job searching, networking. I was able to get me a 31-day pass, which is a blessing, to move around the city, to learn the city, to go to temp agencies, to set up interviews, to go to career fairs. And so I'm just keeping my faith in God and keep my head up high and going from there. So hopefully this inspires and encourages somebody who's been homeless or currently homeless.
This ain't nothing listen, respectfully, big dog. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sympathetic and I have empathy for you because I'm never going to kick somebody when they down. I can't control the chat. The chat is its own monster. I be telling people all the time, like, listen, I know y'all used to something else over there on Instagram and TikTok, but it's not as supportive. These is equal accountability partners over here at the Chasers. You know what I'm saying? Let me say this. I'm not sure how this encourages anybody. I thought we was going to get some sort of a success story. Let me see the rest of the video and then we'll go.
Not to give up, keep your faith in God. Romans 8:28, all things work out for the good of those who love God and are called according to his purpose. I believe in my life that I have purpose. I don't know if you saw my bio or profile, but I'm a filmmaker, creator, artist, screenwriter, director, producer, editor. I like to do a lot of things with the arts. I'm always writing. I love to write. I'm always writing and always praying. So hopefully you see this. Hopefully you're inspired. Never give up. Keep fighting. Keep writing. Keep staying strong. Keep praying. Keep meditating. But it's going to work out for the better. I do believe that. So thank you for listening to this video.
Listen, again, his name is Trent B. Clever. Trent B. Clever. If you like his content or you see value in what it is that he's talking about, go ahead and check it out and then let him know that Anton from AntonDaniels.com sent you. I'm not really sure how inspirational it is. Trying to get the good out of it before I actually tell y'all what my thoughts are. Nah, skip it. Whatever. Let me just say this. The thing that I hit on a regular basis when I'm talking to you guys, and I'm going to get y'all up out of here shortly. The thing that I hit up on a regular basis when I'm talking to you guys is the decisions that you make today. The decisions that you make today at different times in your life is largely going to affect who you are tomorrow. Everything gets exponentially more of what it is that you decide to do today. So if you are sowing seeds and you're doing the right thing and you're taking care of business and you're being frugal and you being intentional and you're not letting what it is that you got going on ultimately, or what everybody else is saying, ultimately affect your lifestyle, then you're going to be able to do whatever it is that you want to do for the rest of your life. Early sacrifices. If you eat differently or whatever, then ultimately you grow up to be incredibly healthy. My point is that it also happens on the flip side. So one of the things, again, and I'm empathetic and I have a lot of sympathy for a situation and I'm praying for him. God bless you, man. I hope that everything works out for you and that you get back on your feet. But I will also say that I didn't hear the other side of the story. How did he get into this situation in the first place? What was his spending habits like? When he had money, when he had a job? What decisions did he make earlier in his life that got him to the point to where when he's 44, ultimately got him crashing out and catching Greyhound tickets in order to try to get his life together? I seen a YouTuber and I was thinking about reviewing this video today, but I didn't really care for it. And it was saying, I messed up in my 20s and my 30s, and it's okay if you didn't find yourself then, you can find yourself in your 40s. Whatever it is that you do, wherever it is that you are, you become exponentially more of that. If you are a trash person or you mismanage your funds, then you're going to have to suffer on the back end. If you do the right thing that's important to you and you focus on yourself instead of focusing on what everybody else says, then you ultimately going to get the results of it. And so, we got to make better decisions earlier, not just look for sympathy and empathy when we find ourselves in a difficult situation, because then that would say that in a lot of instances, we're not taking responsibility and ownership of why we got into that situation in the first place. And I do understand life happens to people. It happens to everybody. Just because you are a good person does not necessarily mean that that's going to translate into you having a phenomenal, rich life. Your riches, you may have to wait for them riches in the afterlife because there's plenty of people that died broke that was good people. You know what I'm saying? So I want it all. I want my cake and I want to eat it too. I'm not trying to be out here crashing out. I want to live a phenomenal life on earth as well as in heaven. And best of luck to him. I hope he does well, and I hope his channel ultimately blows up. Let me read a few of the super chats. And Molly, you a mess. Molly is a mess. Molly says he better find a desperate woman to date and to live off of. Oh, Molly, Jesus Christ, baby girl. My name Joe is in the building, says for the collection plate. Shout out to my dog, my name Joe. I appreciate you for supporting the platform. Anthony Boom says Bree Renee is YouTube. Okay. You know we're going to review that today, right? You know we're going over to the Anton Daniels channel. We're reviewing that today, right? Shout out to my dog, Anthony Boom, Yakar, and everybody that emailed me the podcast. My dog, Pookie's friend Ray Ray, says, I'm pretty sure I saw him at the Assist Wireless tent a couple weeks ago. I sell cell phones and work at the homeless shelters in Tulsa. Oh, so you probably was right because he did say that he went over to Tulsa. Clay Hart says, why are people too prideful to do DoorDash or Uber until they can get back on their feet? You have a car, or was he just dull? I don't know. He said that he was having car troubles. So maybe that factored into it. I know that in certain places, especially in the summertime, you can do that junk on a bicycle. You can do it on a bike. You can do it on a moped. You can do all of that. I see migrants coming into this country, and if you go down to Miami or you go over to New York, they do all of their DoorDash deliveries on a moped or on an e-bike or on a regular bicycle. And they be getting it too. Shout out to my girl, Brittany B says, glad you back in the studio today because yesterday's mute issues was wild. I know. I texted you, but you didn't respond. Now I got to do a stream about you. Let me say this. And there's people in this chat right now. Shout out to Yakar. He has my phone number. You know what I'm saying? He contact me on a regular basis. Shout out to my wife. Like, my wife will contact me and I will be like, and then she gonna come to me, Anton, you didn't reply to my text message. Shout out to Brittany B. Anton, you didn't reply to my text message. I'm sorry, baby, I was so busy. You know what I'm saying? It's somebody texting me right now. Q was texting me yesterday and I ain't even text her back till like 3 a.m. She don't even trip. She know who I am. I gotta get better. I'm gonna do better. I have, on this phone in particular, I have 179 unread messages. That's a fact, though. 179 unread messages right here. All right? So don't, look, 183 missed calls, 179 unread messages, 52 notifications on, I'm sorry, listen. For those of you that think that you're special and you're going to take precedence over my daughter and my wife, if I look at my notifications and it ain't something important, I'll put my phone down and I'll be like, I got to get back to the bag. I know that people get mad at me and they say we got to hold Anton accountable for not responding to my text message because I got this, I got that. I'm sorry. I have a problem. That's on one phone. On the other phone, I got 130 unread text messages too. Right on this one. See that? 130 right there on this side, right here. I struggle. That's why I got 2 personal assistants. I struggle. I have 2 personal assistants. I get text messages and calls every single day from people like, man, why you ain't read my message? Bruh, I ain't read nobody's message. Man, I am behind on everything. I got a meeting that I got to jump into in 4 minutes for corporate America. I got to do stock club at 10 o'clock. We doing after hours tonight. I got to jump back into corporate America for some meetings because I got to do a passover for a new redesign application that we got going over. Listen. For all of the people that go off on me and talk about my lifestyle, or they say that I'm not a real N-word because I haven't responded to a text message immediately, I would say sorry, but I'm not. I don't even like texting. If you talk to him, DJ Ace, email me, and I got you. Yo, I had people going off on me and they said they did whole live streams about me because I didn't respond to their text message. They said I'm not a real one. Okay, I'm sorry. I apologize. Sue me. We working on it. Anyways, let me read it. Somebody said, I think bro capping. Bro, I just showed you my notifications. Capping. And I just showed y'all. I literally just showed you all of the unread phone calls and missed calls. Look, it's right there at the bottom of the screen. See that? 179 text messages, 183 missed phone calls. I have issues. I have to hire a third personal assistant because I don't have the capacity to be able to respond to every single thing. Sometimes I respond to y'all back and I'll be like, hey man, thank you, I appreciate it. Or I'll just hit the like button, the little heart on whatever it is that you say. I know y'all be sitting up under y'all wives and stuff like that, worrying about whether or not I'm texting y'all. Sorry, bruh. You know what I'm saying? Like, Jesus. Anyways, I love y'all. Anton, I knew he was fake. And then I seen that. Let me say this. I'm going to just say this since it's the end of the show, and I got an extra 2 minutes. Yo, not only did they did that sucker move because they was feeling some type of way about the fact that I didn't text back, all right? Not only that, I seen that funky hoe Tawana. And you know what's so tripped out? I was cool with her. Like, we had talked and we called and we had a phone call like 2 years ago. And we was like, yeah, I ain't got nothing to say. I ain't saying nothing about this. Somebody send me her stuff. She over there talking reckless. Yeah, I knew he wasn't a real one. I said, oh, y'all done pulled out the funky hoes. I thought that I was going to be, now I got to do a whole live stream reviving and bringing you to the front of the congregation. You better hope, because I still got the receipts. You better hope, because I backed off. I backed off of you and I made up. But you better keep your funky mouth shut, you old ugly trout mouth hoe. Better stay off from. Listen, I am not playing no games this year. I'm bringing everybody to the front of the congregation. I'm going to take a nap. I'm going to take a nap today. And if I feel better on Wednesday, then I won't bring you to the front of the congregation. But please, please leave me alone. Why don't y'all just go somewhere and play in traffic? Don't you got a baby? Don't you got a husband? He ain't telling you to keep Anton from AntonDaniels.com name out your mouth? I'm sorry, this is the Millionaire Morning Show. I thought this was the Anton Daniels channel. Let me focus. I'm sorry. Y'all better leave me alone, man. I'm pulling all of the smoke today. This year, before the end of this year, we gonna settle all of this. Rob Brown says, phenomenal morning show. Shout out to my dog Rob Brown. I appreciate you. Anthony McDonald says, Anton is a real one. Looking forward to meeting you in Houston. Shout out to my people. I can't wait to meet y'all in real life in Houston. These people like crazy, man. Y'all want me to text y'all? Y'all want me to hold y'all hand? Want me to baby you? Want me to come back and revive things that we talked about 3 or 4 years ago? Man, if y'all don't move on with y'all life, this ain't nothing but a Ricky Lake show. You used to be mad, now I'm had. Man, get out of here, bro. Anyways, after hours tonight. I ain't thought about these people. I look over there, I said, man, this chick done gained weight. Cheeks all puffy, never lost the baby weight. Sitting there streaming in her closet. You streaming in your closet. You're in your closet with you set your camera up in your laptop on a portable table and set it in your closet. Man, if y'all don't leave me alone. Anyway, let me stop. Anyways, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I got a meeting to jump in. For the bag chasers, I'm going to see y'all at 10:05 Eastern so we can live stream and get this money. You know what I'm saying? We're going to be talking about it in the Patreon Stock Club. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Shout out to my name, Joseph 80 and 50 cent mode. Man, these people better leave me alone. I don't even want no smoke. I just want to be left alone. Leave me alone, trout mouth. I'll holler at y'all later. Peace.